You don't need to tell your mother what I said. Get back on this screen. Turn your camera on now! Send them out of the room! Send those two girls out of that room! Now! Don't say a word, just send them out of the room. Oh, and go ahead and put yourself on mute now. Evening, Mr. Jenkins.
Morning. Good morning. Good evening, Judge. Sorry I'm late. I guess it was a little update with Zoom and workplaces, something like that. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to rock and roll.
Mine did that the other day, but it kicked me off.
Yeah, my computer was updating and I'm like, what is going on here? So I apologize, Your Honor, for being late and ready to roll when you are.
Absolutely. No worries whatsoever. Let's see. All right. What we got here? Do we have, we don't have anybody from Cobb in there yet, do we? Let's see. Do we got ECDC though. So is, Miss Murray here yet?
Your Honor, Miss Murray asked that we hold for her. She is on the way.
All right. Let's see. All right. So what about, let's see. We don't have Cobb. We got South Annex.
Oh, Judge, I don't see South Annex.
All right, let's go through this, see who we got. All right, let's see. Wave your hand if I call your name. Michael Sims. All right, let's see. Who is this? Mr. Cazzoli's not here either. What about, let's see. What about Joshua Delmare? All right, now we're cooking with gas. Number 6, Bostic. All right, this is Joshua Delmare, number 6, 24 PI 005214, 133 days without indictment. As of September the 5th, there is a $21,500 good bond on aggravated assault and criminal damage to property in the first degree. Wow.
Just a second, Judge. I'm sorry. Who are we on?
Number 6, Joshua Delmare.
Delmare, 2 cycles in Alabama, 13 in Georgia. FTA, he's in custody for old misdemeanors. He took a plea on 2 misdemeanors, reduced down to disorderly conduct since being in custody. No prior felony convictions.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Dobbs.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Delmare is 43 years old. He's been in Fulton County Jail for 133 days on these charges. From the pretrial report, we heard only 1 FTA, which through the amount of cycles he does have, which, is not all that many. I see plenty more, but which, I believe it was 14 or 15. He only has 1 FTA, indicating that he is likely to return to court. And there's no indication from that he is a flight risk. He also is not a convicted felon. And most of his other cases, as mentioned by Bostic, are older misdemeanor cases. So there's not criminal history for Mr. Delmare to establish a pattern of behavior in line with the accusations today, for which he is legally innocent. Because he's been in jail for 133 days, Mr. Delmare has, of course, not been able to assert defenses, which he very much does want to assert. Mr. Delmare denies these allegations, but because his case is still unindicted, he is just sitting despite the denial of those accusations. Mr. Delmare is a native of the Metro Atlanta area. If released, he would reside at the address, which is on Odyssey of 413 Parkway Drive, Northeast 30308. His mother, Dorothy Delmare, lives locally. He also has 4 children which live locally, which he is a co-parent for. At the time of his arrest, he was employed at a Ware house. He's confident he can go back to that line of work if he is released. We understand what the accusations are, but we ask this court to consider his ties, his criminal history, which is not similar to this. The fact that he only has one FTA, the fact that he has not been able to assert defenses for 133 days. For all of those reasons, Judge, we do ask for a reduction on the aggregate bond on this case to $10,000. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. Very briefly, state request you deny defense counsel's motion at this time. Not hearing any change in circumstances that would warrant a reduction in this case. He already has a bond, and unfortunately, he's not able to make it. But at this time, we don't believe it's appropriate. Thank you at this time, Judge.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew, sir. The only reason you leave your house is court, lawyer, or medical reasons, period. Stay away from 356 Boulevard. Also, no further contact with Lasanda, Lasanda, Wright, 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 19,000 and 1,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. You can leave the booth there, Mr. Delmare. We have Eric Wingo. Eric Wingo, raise your hand if you're Eric Wingo. Nope, let's see.
I don't see Mr. Wingo. He's at South Annex, but if South Annex is unable to come on tonight, I have gotten his permission in advance to waive his appearance.
All right, we'll go ahead and do that. I'm just looking for somebody who's here because we got Ken and Broom and stuff aren't here. All right, let's see. Eric Wingo, number 14, Bostic. 24 PI 005762, 808 days without indictment. There is a $55,000 good bond as of August the 10th, 2024 on false imprisonment, aggravated assault, battery, and simple battery.
Wingo has 4 FTAs, probation violation, revocation, theft by receiving stolen property in 2015, marijuana with intent obstruction in 14, ag assault and firearm during open case. I didn't put down for what. And then a simple battery 20 CR 00566G. I think simple battery $2,500. During open case. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Steffo.
Judge, as you stated, Mr. Wingo has been in custody for 808 days, and while this is a 24 PI indictment, the warrant was actually from 2022 and could have been issued the entire time that he was in custody and indicted as well. It wasn't until he was being prepared to be released on another matter where he pled out that the warrant came back up, and this is when the PI number was issued. He is 33 years old. He's a lifelong Atlanta resident. He does have a stable address where he's been living since he was 17 years old, and he'll be living there with his grandma and his brother. He has a son who will be 3 years old this month. He has his GED. He's actually also a licensed barber from Atlanta Area Tech, and he has been the barber at both Fulton County and South Annex. He's the only barber in the jail and does all of the haircuts there. At this time, Judge, we are asking for a bond not to exceed $25,000. At his preliminary hearing, I did speak with the district attorney that was present that day. It's my understanding that they have no victim contact and that the victim stopped pursuing the case back in 2022 when the warrant was issued. So I was going to reach out to the district attorney's office and see when this would be indicted or if it would be dismissed, Judge. But on that regard, we are still asking for the $25,000.
Ms. Rhodes, you got any victim contact?
No, Your Honor. The number that we have is now out of service, so I did a victim locate with an investigator.
And Ms. Steffo, where's he going to live again? I apologize.
I'm sorry, good one second. It's 3196 Delow Drive, East Point, Georgia, 30334.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. At this time, we would request that you deny defense counsel's motion for basically a reduction in half of his bond, or a little more actually, and no change in circumstance in connection with his presence in the Fulton County Jail. As such, we request you deny defense counsel's motion at this time, Judge. Thank you.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. You're gonna have a 24-hour curfew. The only reason you leave your house, sir, is court. Oh, well, he's not here. Court, lawyer, medical. No further contact with Janicia, JOHNNEISHA, Knight, KNIGHT. Stay away from 230 Redding Ridge in Atlanta, Georgia. 19,000, 19,000, 9,000, and 4,000. 19, 19, 9, and 4. And I'll put him on my email.
Thank you, Judge. And that concludes my business. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Have a good evening.
You too.
All right. Do we have Miss Guest is here, right? Miss Guest. Do we have Joshua Flournoy? Wave your hand. All right, Mr. Flournoy. Miss Guest. Number 4, Bostic, 24 PI 005653, 95 days without indictment. There's a $32,000 good bond as of August 28th on armed robbery, ag assault, possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission of or attempt to commit certain felonies. Rah.
One or 3 cycles, other 2 cycles, possibly open cases in DeKalb, purchase, manufacturing, sale from a 1/12/24 arrest and a battery from 11/14/23 arrest. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Miss Guest.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Flournoy is 20 years old and is originally from Macon, but has been in the Atlanta area since he's been a young child. He does have a valid address, so he would be residing in Decatur, Georgia, and he would be living at that address with his mother. So if the court is inclined to make it as though Mr. Flournoy is not allowed to return back to the Atlanta area, that is something he would be able to do, as he does not live in Atlanta. He resides in Decatur. Prior to this incident, he was gainfully employed. He worked for a Family Dollar and had been at that job for about 6 months prior to this incident. And that job, Your Honor, is in Decatur. So again, no reason to come back to the Atlanta area. He's a high school graduate and does have plans to go to Georgia State upon his release from custody, where he intends to major in business. Your Honor, his mother, well, I was able to work out a really good consent agreement with the state at his preliminary hearing. This was actually agreed to by the officer that was present that day, because that officer wanted Mr. Flournoy to get a bond and actually be released as well. So we were able to reach this consent. However, his mother, who is a single mom with 2 children, in addition to Mr. Flournoy, is not able to actually afford the bond as it is right now. They have been struggling with that, Your Honor. So we're just asking that the court considers reducing the bond slightly so his family could be able to make that bond. We're asking for a bond not to exceed $20,000 on the aggravated assault. We're asking for a $3,500 bond on the no, I'm sorry, I apologize, Your Honor. We're asking for a $20,000 bond on the armed robbery, $3,500 bond on the aggravated assault, and a $1,000 bond on the possession of knife or firearm during, Your Honor.
Ms. Rhodes, any contact with the victim?
No, Your Honor. The number we have is not allowing calls.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Yeah, very briefly, Judge. Thank you. As again, we have heard no facts that suggest a change in circumstances that would warrant reduction. As such, Your Honor, the state would request that you deny defense counsel's motion at this time. Thank you, Judge.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. See, looks like before they issued a county paid ankle monitor with a 24-hour court curfew. Court, lawyer, medical. That's the only reason you leave your house, sir. Court, lawyer, medical. Stay away from 590 Piedmont Avenue and stay out of Fulton County. The only reason you darken the doors of Fulton County is court or to see your lawyer. Don't stop and get gas. Don't get snacks. Don't do anything like that. And we got mother must co-sign, and her name is Letitia Flournoy, Florournoy. For somebody that has that, she must co-sign on this. And let's see.
I apologize, Your Honor. That's because his last bond order had him at a level 2 pretrial supervision. Is that something that you will also be implementing?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see that now. Level 2 pretrial. And let's see. It also says no further contact with KARIM. Last name is HIMANI. 24, 4, and 2. 24,000, 4,000, and 2,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. let me see. So we're running out of lawyers and we're missing some. We got Mr. Dobbs. Do we have Titus Hunter? Thank you, Ms. Guest. I think that's it for you, unless you're covering for.
I actually want to be covering for the client that's in 5 North, Your Honor, so I'm ready whenever you are on that.
Who is that, Mr.?
That is Malone.
Oh, okay. All right, let's see. Hunter Titus. All right, number 3, Bostic. 24 PI 006349, 505 days without indictment. Not necessarily on this. There's a $20,000 bond as of 9/2 on possession of dangerous weapon or drugs by an inmate. Wow.
That's 3 cycles. He's in custody on 23 SC 189747. Criminal attempted felony ag assault, 3 counts, possession of firearm during felony capital offense, 2 counts, capital offense. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Dobbs.
Thank you, Judge. As stated earlier to this court, Mr. Hunter is held on a indicted matter for which he has no bond that is set for trial in about 6 months. I did not file the motion on this case for this reason, but we might as well have the hearing since we're all here. Mr. Hunter is a lifelong resident of the Metro Atlanta area. If released, he would reside with his mother at 2440 Bethune Circle in Morrow, Georgia. He has 1 child who does live locally. As stated, he's been in for 505 days, not necessarily on this, but that is a very long time to be in jail as a legally innocent person. Judge, I'm just going to ask for his bond to be reduced from $20,000 as it stands now to $10,000, so that either way, he's still in on these other charges and will be until at least his trial takes place. So he won't be getting out based on that anyways. And if his trial does go well for him, then he will have a $10,000 bond as opposed to a $20,000 bond at that point, which I would feel, if that does occur, would be very, very reasonable given the charge here and how long he's been in jail. So for those reasons, I'm asking for a reduction from $20,000 to $10,000. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Briefly, Judge, we request that you deny defense counsel's motion. We believe his bond is appropriate. Obviously, he's innocent until proven guilty, but he's alleged to have contraband in the jail and he's set for trial. And so he's just fine where he is, and his bond amount is appropriate. Thank you, Judge.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. That includes contraband. No further contact your co-defendant, Marion Hunter. That's obviously as the deputies and the sheriff are able to facilitate. No drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. Let's see. Stay out of Fulton County, sir. The only reason you come back to Fulton County once you get released is court or to see your lawyer. Don't get gas, don't stop for go, don't do anything. Straight to the courthouse or straight to see your lawyer and you immediately leave. $15,000 good bond. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Mr. Dobbs, I see you got one more, right? And I think it's...
Yes, it's Mr. Kirkendall who is on the call. He is out of custody. It's to address the ankle monitor, which was placed on October 22nd. He was put on this calendar. Mr. Cazzoli covered for me on that day. And it says he's put on to address the ankle monitor. He is present on the call.
All right, so this is on that add-on calendar. It's 23 CP 220482 Marquavius Kirkendall.
Kirkendall.
Okay. Dissemination of information relating to terroristic threats and acts via computer, and he had $1,000 good bond. And I think,
Judge, this was the one that came into court. He was about the only one that was there the other day, remember? And they was trying to find the people in court to take it off of him, remember? He was that very first guy.
Did they get it take off of you, sir?
No, Judge. So what happened? Or yes.
No, I was just telling him to take himself off mute. I couldn't hear him.
Well, he does have a ankle monitor on right now. I believe he was ordered to have one reattached.
Okay, so, and it's been working. You've been keeping it charged, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. Okay. And this is one, Mr. George, I think, Mr. Jenkins, before it wasn't charging, but they reattached it. And I said, as long as he kept it charged, it's not been indicted. We talk about it this evening. So what do you think?
All right. Let me ask you a question. When was it reattached? What date? Was that October 22nd, a couple of weeks ago?
Is
That's
that
correct.
Yes,
Mr. Kirkle, you don't need to say anything at this time. Thank you.
I think it was
I'm
the
thinking-
last time we were in court. Was that October 22nd?
Yes, Judge, October 22nd.
And since we are going to, and he's been on ankle monitor for a year, is that right?
Yes, sir.
He was,
Well, he'd been on it for,
yes, he had.
yes, and then he had one of the faulty ones, so yeah.
Let's see here, and we're stopping this program here. Sanitarians direct via computer dissemination event. Any other? Does pretrial have a report on how he's been doing, other than with
Yeah,
the
I think-
ankle monitor?
I think I reported that he was fine, that he didn't have any issues, and that he had no other arrests or anything at the time that when I reported last, 2 weeks ago.
All right. We have no objection to its removal, Judge, at the appropriate time, or how about you? What's our last date here? The 21st, is that right?
For night court, yeah.
All right, Judge, I have no objection to that.
All right.
We'll leave it in your discretion, though, Your Honor. If
All
I
right.
wasn't, I don't recall if I was in court regarding this matter being brought to your attention initially, Your Honor, but if he's had it on and he doesn't have any current issues, and he's been on for a year.
Yeah, and he's one of the only ones that
no
actually
problem.
showed up to court.
Yeah, so I have no objection with this removal, Judge.
All right, Mr. Dobbs, just shoot me that order, okay? Thank you. Okay,
All right.
Mr. Quavius, I know I'll destroy your last name. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you, Mr. Jenkins. Mr. Kirkendall, I will email you the judge's order once she signs it, and you will take that to the ankle monitor people. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. You can leave. All right, Jason Malone, wave your hand.
May I please be excused, Judge?
Yes, sir. Have a good evening. All right, let's see. Jason Malone, it's number 8, 24 PI 004917. There's an $8,000 good bond as of August the 1st. It was a consent bond for possession of controlled substance in Schedule 2, possession of manufacture, distribution, sale of marijuana, possession of controlled substance Schedule 2, possession of controlled substance Schedule 2, possession of controlled substance Schedule 2, and possession of drug-related objects. Wow.
That Mr. Malone is in custody on capital offense battery, aggravated battery, and capital and simple battery 24 PI 004918. There's $150,000 bond on that. And then there's 24 SC 004177 sawed-off shotgun, open case, and tampering with evidence. Nothing further.
All right, good. Ms. Guest.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Malone is 22 years old and has been in the Atlanta area his entire life. He does have a valid address where he would reside. That is in Atlanta, Georgia. Mr. Malone currently is in custody on 3 cases, 2 superior court cases and 1 state court case. He does he also has a pending indicted case. He's been in custody for over 122 days and still has not been indicted on this one case before the court. Currently, he has a $163,000 collective bond. We're just hoping that tonight that he would be able to get some type of relief on this bond amount, as his family is prepared or working on trying to post the bonds that he has currently. We're asking for count 1, $1,000 bond, count 2, a $500 bond, count 3, $1,000 bond, count 4, a $500 bond, count 5, a $500 bond, and we're asking for a UJR on count 6, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Jenkins.
If we judge, we request that you deny defense counsel's motion in this case, not hearing any facts and circumstances, change conditions, warranting a reduction in the bond, which is only $8,000 in this case, Judge. Thank you.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. You said because before he lived in Noonan, so he's going to live in Fulton County?
Yes, Your Honor, that's my understanding, that he's going to be in Fulton.
All right, no further contact with your co-defendants. One is Jefani Reed, Reid, and another one is Montez Nelson, Montez Nelson, Nelson. I think I already said no drugs, no alcohol, no weapons. No replicas of weapons, 1,500, 1,500, 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and 250. 1,500, 1,500, 1,000, 1,000, 1,250 dollars. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth.
And Your Honor, that concludes my matters with the court. May I be excused?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. All
Thank
right,
you.
now we got, and we got here, we got Mrs. Safarasi. Let's see. Hold on. Michael Whitfield. All right, here we go, Miss Safarasi. Number 1, Bostic, 24 PI 005367, 106 days without indictment. Looks like it's a $5,000 split bond as of 8/19 on theft by receiving stolen property, possession, receipt, transport of a firearm by a convicted felon, felony first offender, equipment required on the old bicycle, VGCSA, possession of methamphetamine, possession of cocaine, drug-related objects, and possession of a firearm during the commission of a felony. Right.
6 cycles. Battery, family violence in 23, criminal damage to property and tools in 2014, open case in Henry for simple assault and criminal trespass. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Safarasi.
Thank you, Judge. My client, he is 36 years old. We do have a good address for him in Atlanta, Georgia. He resides there with his mom and his dad and his 2 children. Whole life here in Georgia, whole family's here in Georgia. We're trying to get him into a program right now, Judge. At the time of his arrest, he was detailing tour buses. The family owns a company, so he will have employment. He's been doing the detailing the tour buses and different kind of cleaning cars for about 20 years or so. And he also does construction work, which he's been doing the last 15 years. Judge, the only charges, all those charges you read out aren't holding him anymore. The only charges that are holding him is the firearm. It's a split on the firearm during a felony and then by a felon charge. So it's like 25 on each. We are asking for a reduction. Judge has been 106 days. I filed a speedy in this case. I've applied him to bail project. They refused because they previously had posted a bond several years ago. So they won't post another bond. They won't repeat clients at all. So, you know, he has a father I've spoken with. His father can't make this current bond. So I'm asking for a reduction, Judge, to a total of $3,000 total. Just considering the fact that he's been sitting several months on this $5,000 bond, and we don't have any options anymore, Judge. So,
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Yes, briefly, Judge, thank you. Unfortunately, the state hasn't heard any circumstances or facts that would suggest and warrant a reduction in this case. He already has a bond, as a split bond in this case, and so we request that you deny defense counsel's motion. Thank you, Judge.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with Brandon Peterson, Peterson. Stay away from 655 Cleveland Avenue. Let's see, all right. All right, what about you make those UJRs instead of through the jail, make them pretrial level 2? And the weapons, they'll be 2,000 apiece. So UJR through pretrial level 2, and then 2,000 and 2,000. Best of luck to you, sir.
thank you, Judge. And that completes my business for tonight. Might be excused.
Yes, ma'am. Have a good one.
You too, Judge.
All right, I got Jeffrey Mina. Nope, sorry, I'm just going through the ones we got lawyers here for. What about Roberto Garcia? All right, let's see.
Judge, Ms. Kennebrew is here.
Thank you. All right, position 12, Bostic 24, PI 005590. There's a $20,000 good bond as of August the 23rd on burglary in the 2nd degree and theft by taking felony. 98 days without indictment. Wow.
In regards to defendant, 22 cycles. First offender on a theft by receiving and carrying a concealed weapon that was revoked from 2018 and pistol under 18 years old. There's a theft by taking obstruction in 21, purchase, manufacture, and sale in 2019, on probation, theft by taking, fleeing, and eluding driving, suspended license sentence in 2020 for 5 years, theft by taking firearm by burglary firearm during sentence in 2023 for 1 year confinement, 9 years probation. Probation, purchase, manufacturing, sales, sentence in 2023 for 3 years. Theft by taking obstruction, criminal trespass in 21, misdemeanor obstruction in 24. There's a hold from 8/19/24. I forgot to write down what it's for. Nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Garcia is 23 years of age. He is the father of one child. He is a lifelong Georgia resident. He did complete up to the 11th grade. He has been in custody since August. We would just be requesting that his bond is reduced. The state has failed to indict. He's already had his preliminary hearing. And we are asking for the bond to be set at $10,500 on each charge. Thank you.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Yes, and this is a position 12, Mr. Garcia.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, Judge. Briefly, Your Honor, the state is requesting that you deny the defense counsel's motion. He's had his prelim, it appears already. Certainly will be one of our cases that we bring attention to for formal charging, but we still have not heard any facts or circumstances that would warrant a reduction in this case. And so we request that you deny defense counsel's motion. Thank you.
Ms. Kennebrew, is he still going to live in Gainesville, Georgia?
Yes, Your Honor, from what I'm aware of.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 200 Canton Street. That's the Hot Hands Sports Cards. Hot Hands Sports Cards. Stay out of Fulton County, sir. The only reason you come back to Fulton County is court or to see your lawyer. Absolutely no other reason for you to come back to Fulton County. We'll do 14,000 and 4,000. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. Thank you, Bogle. Let's see. Jeffrey Mina. Wave your hand if you're Mr. Mina. All right, there we go. Here you go, Kennebrew. It's number 11, Bostic 24, PI 0055332. 100 days without indictment. As of August the 23rd, there's a $58,000 split bond. You got possession of a firearm or a knife during the commission of a felony, receipt, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon or felony first offender, purchase, possession, manufacture, distribution, sale of marijuana, purchase of cocaine, possession of cocaine with intent to distribute, possession of Schedule I controlled substance, possession of MDMA, and improper left turn. It's alleged that there was 18 grams of cocaine, 9 grams of shrooms, 38.5 grams of weed, 9.4 grams of MDMA. Right.
5 cycles on probation for pandering firearm during cocaine with the intent, Schedule 4 substance, sentence 6/22/23, 5 years, first offender, nothing further.
All right. Go ahead, Ms. Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Mina is 32 years of age. He has been living in Georgia for over 5 years. He does have a valid address here in Georgia that is not actually in that metro Atlanta area. He did graduate from high school. He also was employed prior to being arrested at Acosta's cleaning company. He was arrested he had his first appearance on August 1st. He had his preliminary hearing on August 23rd. No movement has happened with his case since August 23rd, aside from bond hearing. So we would be requesting that his bond is made lower. He is currently at a $20,000 bond amount, so we would be requesting that bond is lowered to a $10,000 total bond amount. It is the state's job to indict the case. The case has just been languishing and sitting as my client has languished in jail. So we would be requesting that the bond does not exceed $10,000 total.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you. This is Jeffrey Mina, is that correct?
Yes, sir. Number 11.
Yes. Who the allegations are is that he's under sentence in this case and caught a new one. And so he clearly is not a good candidate for a bond reduction. And that's essentially what we're talking about here today. No facts and circumstances have changed other than the fact that his case hasn't been charged. But I don't know if he's been set for resentencing and where he received his initial sentence, but I certainly will bring that to the attention of his sentencing judge, and so we can address that before we indict the case. And so we request that you deny defense counsel's motion, but he certainly can guarantee that he will be charged in these offenses. Thank you, Judge.
Right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 33 Baker Street. Stay out of Fulton County. The only reason you ever come back to Fulton County, sir, is court or to see your lawyer. That's it. Straight to court, straight to see your lawyer, and leave Fulton County. Don't stop, get gas. Don't do anything of that nature. All right, we'll do 5,000, 7,000, 500, 20,000, 10,000, 12,000, and then I'll keep improper left turn as UJR jail. 5, 7, 500, 20,000, 10,000, 12,000, and UJR jail. Best of luck to you, sir. You can leave the booth. All right, Waila Tucker. All right, thank you, Ms. Murray. Number
Yes,
two.
I'm so sorry I'm late, Your Honor.
That's okay. Number 2, Bostic, 24 PI 003-876, 162 days without indictment. We've got an $11,000 good bond as of September the 5th on aggravated assault and battery. Wow.
25 cycles, 2019 battery, family violence, FTA, and 2020, 2017 act assault, family violence, 2 count, burglary, and OA obstruction, violent arrest history, nothing further.
All right, go ahead, Ms. Murray.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Tucker is 46 years old. She is a lifelong Georgia resident. She does have family here, her mother, aunts, and uncles. She also has 4 children that live in the area. And several grandchildren. She actually has 2 new grandchildren that have been born since the time that she has been incarcerated. Ms. Tucker, as you mentioned, has been in custody for quite a long time now. Shortly after her last bond hearing, I did reach out to someone in the district attorney's office about her case, and they told me she would be indicted shortly. However, it's 2 months later, and she still has not been indicted. Ms. Tucker has been working with Women on the Rise to try to ensure that she has some services in place when she does get released. They have been super helpful in helping her set up a plan. We have a representative from Women on the Rise here, Miss Browning, here in support of Miss Tucker today. We do believe that Miss Tucker, if given a bond in bail project range, would be a good candidate for bond. She will participate in any services and programs that Women on the Rise has lined up for her. She will ensure that she returns to court. And she wants to be able to be home so that she can, help take care of her grandchildren as she was doing prior to her being incarcerated. Your Honor, we'd also point out that, although there's an aggravated assault here, the aggravated assault, the weapon was a knife and not a firearm. In addition, the complaining witness in this case called me multiple times early on in the case and left messages stating that he did not want to move forward with the case. I'm not sure if Mr. Jenkins has had any victim contact since then, but my understanding is that the complaining witness here isn't really interested in seeing Miss Tucker incarcerated any longer. And, she does have the kind of support and services in place that would make her a good candidate for a lower bond. So we are asking for a bond that would place her in bail project range. We're going to ask for $4,500 on the aggravated assault and $500 on the battery. Again, she has been in for an extensively long time. It's been an additional 2 months since her last bond hearing. We have the services and support in place for her to make sure that she returns to court as instructed.
Ms. Rhodes, any victim contact?
No, Your Honor, a voicemail was left.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. Certainly, counsel, if counsel has a telephone number that she can share with the state, we'd love to receive it in connection with this duly and important victim who wants these charges to go away. Unfortunately, Judge, we'll leave it in your discretion as to what you choose as an appropriate bond, other than the bond she already has in this matter. I haven't heard any circumstances or conditions that would warrant a reduction, Judge, but we'll leave it in your discretion. As you have always meted justice out fairly and equitable in this matter.
All right, no drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 433 Camrose Way Northwest. You must supply an address where you're going to be living upon release. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, medical, and participation in Women on the Rise program. Are there meds that she'll need a 30-day supply release of?
I do believe so, Your Honor, so I can draft up a release order when necessary.
Okay. No further contact with Henry Fitzpatrick. All right, we'll do 6,000 and 1,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Your Honor, is there any way you would consider 5,500 and 500?
Mr. Jenkins?
Judge, we'll leave it in your discretion.
Mr. Jenkins won't
I think you've been fair, but hey, that's not satisfactory to
Mr. Jenkins likes for me to be first on 5 on 11.
I mean, it got reduced, and They're not satisfied. Okay. What can you
It's
do?
just, I'm just trying to put her in bail project range, Your Honor. So the 5,500 and 500 would do that.
I can do 5,000 and 1,000. Best of luck to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right.
Anybody covering for Mr. Cazzoli or Miss Strong? No. All right, then let's see. Miss Kennebrew, we got, let's see, Kosi Franklin. Thank you, ACDC. Have a good weekend.
Thank you too, Judge.
All right, Miss Kennebrew, we got number 7, Bostic, 24 PI 002705, 205 days without indictment. There's a $65,000 good bond as of August the 27th. Kidnapping and battery.
Open case in judicial hold 22 SC 1800667, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 2 counts, terroristic threats, firearm during, firearm by, I guess terroristic threats, 3 counts, and Judge Carnesal, 16 minutes, 2015 terroristic threats, assault, robbery in 2015, domestic assault in 2016, 1 cycle Alabama, 5 out of Georgia, FTA in 23, there's an ag assault in 21, 8 months confinement, 4 years, 4 months probation, nothing further.
Go ahead, Miss Kennebrew.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Franklin is 51 years of age. He does have a valid address in the metro Atlanta area. He has been in Georgia for over 12 years. He's been married for 12 years. He is the father of 4 children. Prior to being arrested, he was employed with Bubbling Blessings, LLC for the past 6 years. He did complete his GED. He also obtained an associate's degree in business administration. He has been in custody since April 18th, 2024. He had his preliminary hearing on May 10th, 2024. That was then reset to June 3rd, 2024. We did have the hearing on June 3rd, 2024, and nothing has happened with his case. His case has continued to just sit. He is currently at a $65,000 bond. We are requesting that you actually put that bond to a $30,000 bond, or reduce that bond to a $30,000 bond. He has been sitting in custody. It's the state's job to move this case. The case just has not been moved. If they are of the belief that there is no change in circumstance, the change in circumstances that he is sitting and languishing in the Fulton County Jail. So we would just be requesting that the bond is reduced to $30,000.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. Hearing no change in circumstance, state requests that you deny defense counsel's motion. We believe the bond is appropriate. Thank you, Judge.
Where's he gonna live, Miss Kennebrew?
It's in Atlanta. It's in Fulton County.
All right. No drug, any contact with Jessica Brooks, Miss Rhodes?
No, Your Honor. Victim locate was sent.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons, no further contact with your co-defendant, Jeffrey Hardy, Hardy. Stay away from 3 Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard. Stay away from all Texaco gas stations. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. Court, lawyer, and medical is the only reason you leave your house. Let's see. No further contact with Jessica Brooks. $40,000 and $15,000. Best of luck to you, sir. And I'll put that name on my list. And Miss Kennebrew, I think you probably know that one of your cases was indicted. That was Jonathan Harvey was indicted.
Yes, Your Honor. I still have 1 case.
All right. Joshua Robinson. Joshua Robinson?
He's not there.
Is Joshua Robinson the one out there just walking around, checking out whatever?
No, he should be in 5 North, I believe. Let me just.
No, he was at Grady Loadout. That's it. That's what Bogle said.
Who, Mr. Robinson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then can I be excused, Your Honor?
All right. We can, he's got no bond, so we'll place him on another. Any idea how, well?
I don't know. Can you put him on the next available calendar? Because I think we only have, 2 or 3 calendars left?
Yeah, the 21st. Can you
Or
see?
put him on the last calendar that we have.
Okay, and then I guess you can see if you can waive his
I'm
presence.
gonna go and see what's going on. I didn't know he was there.
All right, and yes, you don't know where Mr. Cazzoli is, huh?
I just reached out to Mr. Cazzoli. Give me a second. I may have to cover for him.
Okay. And then we have one on the add-on calendar, and that was supposed to be Marcellus Bishop.
I don't know who that went to. Miss Strong is no longer in our office.
All right, well, it's assigned to Judge Dunaway, but I talked to him and he wanted him to keep his ankle monitor on and keep it charged. So I guess you could pass that on to whoever if you find out, but he didn't show up. So there we go. All right, so we just got those two. We're waiting to see if she can.
Mr. Daniels, Glenn Daniels. Okay, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can find your file.
All right. So I got Glenn Daniels and Michael Sims, right? Nod your heads, shake your heads. All right, that's both of them. Number 10 and number 5.
Good evening, Your Honor. My apologies.
That's okay. Miss Kennebrew just said, she said really bad things about you, Mr. Cazzoli, but we'll talk about that later, okay?
I'm sure, Your Honor.
All right.
Your Honor, good evening. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Daniels. Mr. Daniels has been incarcerated since July. This is going to be a pretty quick argument because I know right now we're currently waiting on the bail project. They've already interviewed him. We should be hearing from them any day now. So just to make their jobs a little easier, we're asking for this bond to be reduced from a total of $6,000 to a total of $4,500 to get it under the limit that they need for some of their extra checks to hopefully speed this along if there are any delays. The address listed on his booking report is correct. He is 40 years old, will be turning 41 in next month. So, Your Honor, we are just asking for a small reduction at this time, just to make life a little easier for the bail project.
Is that the Prior Road address?
Mr. Daniels, it's Prior Road, correct, sir? Your address?
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah, just thumbs up or thumbs down.
All right. So we got position 10, Bostic 24 PI 005186, 112 days without indictment. $6,000 bond as of 8/9 for terroristic threats and acts and simple battery family violence. Pre-trial.
In regards to Mr. Daniels, 27 cycles, there's an act stalking. He's on probation for 1723. 1 year confinement, 9 years probation, 22 SC 182830. And then simple battery, family violence in 21. There's a couple of FTAs, history of probation violation, old crossing guard line, old drugs, but different victim, nothing further.
Any contact with a victim, Miss Rhodes?
No, Your Honor, victim locate was sent.
All right, go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. With the circumstances in this matter, we'll leave it in your discretion. I understand that the defendant is a repeat offender in this case over a lengthy period of time. In this case, but he's got a $6,000 bond, so we'll leave it in discretion regarding the request for reduction. We haven't heard any change in circumstance, but you know.
All right, let me look at one thing here because I couldn't. Come on. All right, let's see. We got. Oh, let's see. There it is. No drugs unless prescribed. No alcohol. No weapons. No replicas of weapons. Stay away from 2428 Prior Road. And this says he's going to live at 2150 Prior Road. Is that it, sir? Thumbs up. No further contact with Malcolm Delray Dill, D-I-L-L. Delray is D-E-L-R-A-Y. You're going to have a 24-hour curfew, court, lawyer, and medical. It's the only reason you leave your house, court, lawyer, and medical. So we'll do... $4,500. Best of luck to you, sir.
Thank you.
All right, we got
Thank you,
Michael
Your Honor.
Sims, last one. Number 5, Michael Sims, 23 CP 220198, 131 days without indictment. They $25,000 good bond as of 9/6 for battery, family violence, subsequent conviction or prior forcible felony, and criminal trespass. And there was a pretrial surrender previously. Pre-trial.
In regards to Michael Sims, 1 arrest in North Carolina, 56 in Georgia, open case 24 SC 004865, ag assault, criminal damage to property, terroristic threats, simple battery, Obstruction on Judge Conosale, open case 23 CR 003381G, obstruction. Couple of FTAs, a simple battery and cruelty, and a third battery family violence felony in 2019 theft by conversion, history of probation violation, history of criminal trespass, nothing further.
Mr. Cazzola, it looks as though, well, the name on here anyway says it may be the victim. Did the victim want to talk, Ms. Rhodes?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Wright, if you want to turn your camera on.
Can you hear me, Judge?
Yep, you got to turn your camera on for me.
Okay. I thought I did.
You gotta
On
be able,
now?
you gotta be able to see your face. All I can see is a black square.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me turn around, Judge Honor.
Look.
I'm a little bit new to. I should have been did it. Do that. I'm in my car. Cause turn the light on. Can you see me now, Judge?
All right, if you raise your right hand, do you swear a firm testimony you're about to give is the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Yes.
All right, if you just state your name for the court reporter, please, ma'am.
My name is Carlethia Maria Wright.
All right. Ms. Cazzola, you want to ask her some questions, or you may just go and let her make a statement?
Your Honor, a statement is fine.
All right, what would you like to say, Ms. Wright?
I would like to say that I disagree with Mr. Sim having a bond. He did have a bond prior, and he violated that bond. And he also caught no charges on that bond with myself violating me and brutally attacking me, Judge Honor.
Have you been the victim in other cases, or is this one of the first cases you've been the victim in?
No, I have two. I have two open cases with him where we tried to work things out, but each time Mr. Sim used the alcohol awareness as a weapon. But let me get my thoughts together. The alcohol is a weapon, but he actually knows what he be doing. So he's not really receiving the counseling that he needs to get help. So me being brutally attacked and beaten in my head several times by Mr. Sims is dramatic.
All right. Thank you. Ms. Wright, go ahead.
And we have all.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead, Mr. Cazzola.
You speaking to me or him?
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Mr. Cazzola.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, this is going to be a very limited argument. We're just asking for a nominal reduction at this time. There is an indicted case here where Mr. Sims is represented by Stacey Levy with our office. I know that they are aiming for a global resolution in this case, and he's already being held on other matters here, Your Honor. So we're just asking for a nominal reduction due to the amount of time he's been in.
Do you know where he's going to live?
Mr. Sims, do you have somewhere that you know where you're going to be staying afterwards? Okay, is it the one that's on file right now?
Is it Bargewood Road or something like that? All right. Go ahead, Mr. Jenkins.
Thank you, Judge. Very briefly, as the victim has stated, the defendant, we believe and submit that he is not a proper candidate for a bond reduction with his open cases, additional cases that involve this very victim. While this case is merely, and others are allegations in this case, he is not an appropriate candidate. As such, Judge, we request that you deny defense counsel's motion. And if you do, Judge, we absolutely want no contact whatsoever with the victim is right, who was present on Zoom with this defendant and all other terms and conditions, and that he should have a 24-hour ankle monitor and no further violations of the law, Judge. Thank you.
All right. No drugs unless prescribed, no alcohol, no weapons, no replicas of weapons. Stay away from 716 Charlotte Place in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolutely no contact, any way, shape, form, or fashion, or through anybody with Miss Carlethia Wright. That means you can't call her, can't text her, can't get anyone else to. Wherever you keep your address updated with the clerk of court, you're going to have a 24-hour curfew, and the only reason you leave your house is court or to see your lawyer. And you're going to have an ankle monitor with that 24-hour curfew. Court and to see your lawyer is the only reason, or if you leave to go to the hospital and ambulance, that's the only reason you leave your house, sir. All right, I'm going to leave the bond the same. Best of luck to you, sir. Thank you, Ms. Wright.